Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This video will be a Mercury guide. I'm going to start doing more guides for the jungle, for gods that I'm good with, so Alquang, Thanatos, Fenrir, Humbats, Naja, maybe. Those gods, those are probably my best junglers. Also obviously Mercury, which is what I'm doing now. So there's a few different starts that you can do. I'd say two of which are viable. Two of the others you can try out. They're not that great though. So, three of the starts involve Bomber's Mask. Then you get Death's Toll. This is the first start. This is my favourite start. I think it's one adapting users as well, because it gives you a lot of sustain, as your Death's Toll will proc on your 1 because it triggers item for basic attacks, including things like lifesteal, frostbound hammer, chin size, things like that. So Death's Toll also gives you 100 health and 10 power. The 100 health is really good early game, because it allows you to box a lot, and 10 power is nice. And you also get 2 of each potion with that start. Next is Combat Boots.
Ooh,
this start
looks like it hurts.
This will only give you 1 of each potion, but as you can see from the Mercury passive, converting 25% of my movement speed from items or abilities, that gets converted into power. So you get 11 more power than you would with Combat Boots on any other god, or just going for the Death's Toll start. But disadvantages: you obviously only get 1 of each potion, which is different to the Death's Toll where you get 2 of each potion, and you don't get the 100 health. So this is a more aggressive start if you're thinking that you can get a kill in the lane early game. The Death's Toll is more for just normal clear and poking, so you have enough health to sustain for a while until you can back and get full boots, because that is usually your first back. So we'll just go with the normal Death's Toll start.
Sometimes fish just won't cut it.
And I'll show you what, obviously how you would build from that. It's the same as boots as well. Just quickly, the other starts are starting with Rangda's Mask, Bombers, and T1 of boots. You can also get some potions with that. Not a great start because you don't get power from the Rangda's Mask, which you need for Mercury. Mercury does really well with power. Then the other start is going Talari Boots straight away. You only get 1 of each potion. You do get HP 5 out of combat, but you don't get the gold, and the Bomber's Mask has really good sustain for the jungle. Also gives you a nice 50 health and 50 mana. So, first off, on your first back, you will get Warrior Tabby.
Sometimes fish just won't cut it.
Now, Warrior Tabby, there's no reason not to get Warrior Tabby on Mercury unless you've gone Talari Boots, obviously. You need the power. Ninja Tabby does not give as much power. Yes, it gives you 100 mana, but you already have mana sustain from Death's Toll, and you get 50 mana from Bombers. And the attack speed, you don't really need Mercury with attack speed, because of his 2, which a lot of people like to overlook. It gives you 70% attack speed. That's one of the strongest steroids in the game in terms of attack speed. I think people that like come close that are beating it, like an Artemis and her 2. So after you have that, next back is Rage. You want to get Rage early on so you can start critting, and this will be sort of your transition into the mid game where Mercury hits his, as Dean Brandon would call it, critical mass, where that god is the strongest that they will be throughout the game in comparison to other gods. So compared to other gods, if you were fighting other gods or you were in a team fight, this is when Mercury would be the furthest gap from how good the enemies are. Obviously late game Mercury is still a monster, but the other gods do catch up to him a bit. So you want to get Rage because in the mid game, that's when you're going to be ganking a lot and getting these kills. So you're going to be building up these stacks. That's where you get it earlier on. Then, next, you're going to want to get
Hey,
Deathbringer.
sometimes fish just won't
Why
cut it.
Deathbringer next? You're getting Deathbringer quite early on because it actually got 200 gold reduced off it, but it still stayed the same. So at this point, if you have a full rage built up, with its 35% crit chance, and you have Deathbringer, now you have 147 power with 55%. No, not 35. 55% crit. So the majority of the time you are critting, and in the mid game that is great. At this point, you can solo the portal demon. Yes, you'll get probably like half health maybe, but you'll be able to solo the portal demon, which is a good objective. And if you're warded up and say they back, you can kill the portal demon before they get back to in the jungle or in the lane. Next, you're gonna want to get Assy or Bloodforge. Maybe. It depends. I prefer Assy. It really depends on your playstyle. Assy is amazing on Mercury. Amazing is an understatement of how good this item is. Because whilst it does have attack speed and it doesn't have power, the penetration is always nice. Let me just build it up here. Okay, so with this now, 70% attack speed, so that's 1.42 with Assy. If I got rid of the Assy and use this normally, so that's 1.92. It goes up to 1.92. If I get the Assy,
Let's go.
it goes up to 2.12, and that is so much attack speed. You probably wouldn't need that much ever. But with Mercury, you're critting, you're critting 55% of the time and dishing out 2 basic attacks per second. I mean, it's just any squishy's dead at this point. Like, no squishy's gonna survive 4 hits, and that's 2 seconds. Literally, if you do this,
Where are you going?
they're dead. There's nobody's escaping from that if they're squishy, because they don't have any defense. Obviously, people with more defense will be able to survive longer, but your crits still hurt people that have defense. Next, you're gonna want to sell your bombers, because at this point you don't really need it. You can solo camps easily with Assy, and the gold's not really that useful, because you're gonna be getting most of the gold from kills and minions by this point, not from camps. They just don't give you enough.
Hey,
So you're
sometimes
gonna
fish
get
just won't
Titan's
cut it.
Bane. You get Titan's Bane basically for the pen, because at this point in the game, people are gonna have enough defense as to where Titan's Bane is worth it. They're gonna be like level. Some people might even be level 20. They're gonna be like 16 to level 20 when you get in Titan's Bane. And by then, their defense, as you can see with even Mercury, who's a squishy, if I just get to level 16, that's 58 physical protections there. If I were to get to level 20, just level all these abilities up, that's 70. That's 70 physical defense. That's quite a lot, to be honest. So that Titan's Bane, that 33%, is going to cut that down by quite a margin. Now, early game, obviously, flat pen helps, because they don't have much defense, and you can probably half someone's protections early game with flat pen. That's why you would get flat pen early, but you don't get Assy because they're, because you need that rage and the Deathbringer, and never get Deathbringer first, okay? Because you're not enhancing anything. You're enhancing 20% critical strike chance. That's nothing. There are much better alternatives to Deathbringer if you want power in a build. So a lot of people like to use Deathbringer as a power item, like just for power. It's not just for power. It's for a god that uses crits. If you want power, get a Bloodforge. It's just much better. which brings me on to my next item. Now, this is your situational item. This is really your core build. You can switch Assy out for Bloodforge if you want. I don't recommend it, because Assy will allow you to outbox anybody in the game, unless it's a hunter with more attack speed than you, with crit and Assy, which is very unlikely, especially in the current meta, where crit isn't as favoured. It's still okay and decent, but things like chin size shifters, they're being more favoured. So, this item, you really have 4 options for this, maybe 5. So, Bloodforge,
Hey,
this
sometimes
is
fish just won't cut it.
probably my second choice that I would go, Bloodforge. This allows you to
Go
go into a fight, dive in, hit someone a few times, bang, you get that shield. Now this shield, you might think, oh, health, well, that's not really that useful. I mean, you're squishy. If someone wants, if a DPS god wants to kill you, that shield is not going to save you, really. But it's all about the movement speed. You see, I get basically just 10 extra power from that, but 10 extra power is quite a bit with crit chance, because crit chance uses percentage, so that 10 power gets converted to higher percentages with your basic attacks. Now, my favourite is probably Malice if I want to deal damage.
Ooh, this looks
If
like
I
it
want
hurts.
movement speed, I might not even go for Bloodforge, I might go for Wind Demon. I don't like Wind Demon as much, because it only gives 30 power. But that movement speed and attack speed, I think that might even cap you actually. If I were to do this, yeah, that'll really overcap you. That's why I don't like it as much. I prefer
Hey,
Malice.
sometimes fish just
This is
won't
my
cut it.
favourite choice, because it deals a ton of damage. Like, look how hard these crits are hitting now. I mean, for around 900, 800, depending on obviously which of the chain it hits. Now, these next 2 items are for if you're just like going into a fight, you're ulting in, and then you're just getting bursted down instantly. And these 2 items are Magi's
Oh
Blessing
yeah, new
or
spandex.
Mantle of Discord. Now, you get Magi's Blessing if it's hard CC that's hurting you. Because if you ult into a fight, so you ult in, bang, you hit them, maybe you missed someone, like they dodged it, you know, you didn't predict where they were going right. And if it's a hard CC that's hurting you, they're just gonna like lock you down and then get you. If and that's obviously just for hard TC really, because it doesn't give many protections. The health is obviously going to save you as well.
Oh,
Now if
yeah,
it's just
new
straight
spandex.
up damage that's really hurting you, and I mean it has to be affecting you quite a bit for you to want to go this route, and you get Mantle, because it spikes your protection up by a lot. I mean, I guess 10% cooldown reduction is nice. And also, if you're getting low, and you just want to like, get out of a fight, and like that will just stun people as soon as you get to 30% health. And most people in a team fight, especially if it's in like the jungle or something, they're going to be within that range. Now, this is where Mantle and Assy work really well together and synergize. Because look at the Assy passive, if you drop below 35% health, you gain that insane lifesteal that's with your crits. And crit and Assy, like 3 or 4 hits, you're back to full health basically. So, when you get to 30%, so you get to 35% health, and like you're instantly probably at 30% health because they're bursting you down. So as soon as you get below the 30% threshold, Mantle of Discord pops, they get stunned, and if you're in there and you haven't used your 2 yet, use your 2 with that Assy passive, you're at full health. By then you're at full health easily, no questions asked, you are at full health. So I'm just going to switch back to my
Hey,
malice,
sometimes
my
vicious
favourite.
won't cut it.
Now I'm going to teach you how to initiate on a team fight. Is also where your relics come in. So there's only a few options that I'd go with Mercury. Obviously you have like, you'd always get beads. I'd say beads is a must on Mercury, because hard TC destroys you because you're so squishy. You build like literally no defense, and if someone hard TCs you, even if it might not even be a big problem with hard TC, but if someone just like gets hard TC on you and they like attack you, like see an ADC starts hitting you, shooting at you, you're gonna be low pretty quickly. So you're not gonna want to beat out of that. Now, some people go blink. Bad idea, really. It's just not great. Your ult is a much better initiate, and you want to use that to initiate in a fight. That's how you want to get into a fight with your ult, because it's basically like a super long range blink that can't be interrupted. Like, if you go like this, obviously the charging thing can be interrupted, but as soon as you left click, you get that CC immunity. So you go gold, you have that CC immunity, nobody's stopping you there. So I don't really recommend blink. Your ult's already one of the best initiators in the game, obviously apart from maybe a Thor ult, because that literally can't be interrupted at all as soon as you press Thor. I like Aegis if damage is a problem, but you're really getting this in the mid game. So if damage is hurting you in the mid game, you're definitely going to want an Aegis. I like to go sprint. If you're going to get sprint in the game, say they have, say they have a lot of slows, you might want to get sprint. And also sprint early, the reason why you get it at the start is because if you go into a fight early game, let me just reset my level, get rid of everything, sell all these. If you're level 1 and you have a sprint, what is it there? And if you have this start, so you have this start, say want to go 3 because you've been aggressive, I don't know. Okay, is that ground movement speed is increased by 10%? Great, that's nice. Okay, so even though you have 19, let's just see how sprint adds on to that. So we're going to -9 off the total. 48. So that is going from 10 to 39 power, which is much as Talaria boots in combat. So you can see why sprint is so strong early. And as well, nobody's escaping you early if you have that. Literally nobody. And especially, that is especially true.
Hey, sometimes fish just
If
won't
you have
cut
this. This is 21 obviously, so we're going to -9 off the total. 50. You have 50 power. That's like having a Deathbringer at level 1. And that is 2 times the gold that you get at level 1. That is so much power. I really like the sprint start, especially if I'm being aggressive. And if they have any slows, I will usually go with the other option as a jungler is Shell. Shell's really strong right now. Like, that's an obvious. Nearly everyone's getting Shell. Like, you get usually having your Guardian and Warrior will most always have Shell, and you might have and you can have a Shell as well, because it's just so good. You can get, I don't know the exact maths of it, but you can have, wait, let's see, 340 health. So if you have 3 of those in your team, that's over 1,000 health for each person extra. If you time it right, that's pretty insane. So ability combos, getting into a fight. Okay. So this is a pretty long guide, but Mercury's quite in depth. about how he uses things to the best of his ability, to get the maximum damage out of everything. Because some people just like to build crit and think that that's it, but you can do so much more. Like, you can kill tanks as well. So you ult in on the fight, bang. Now you want to ult in on your priority target. That's the person, usually, if you want a simple way of doing it, if you don't want to like look at like how effective everyone's doing in like, say if someone's like getting a lot of kills, like getting the last hits, like they're executing people as an outcome or Thanatos. If you don't want to look at any of that, and you don't want to look at who's the biggest on their team, who's the most gold, who has the most like effective items, things like that. If you just want a simple way of picking a priority target, look at the top damage right here. Press T, look at who's top damage. That is your target. That's the simplest way of doing it. Then when you ult in, you want ult in to stun them. Dead. You press 2, they're dead. Okay, or if you want to sprint, especially if you ult into a fight and you just pop sprint, you just do so much damage. You can just sprint and pick a target, and like the whole team rush them down if you want. Like if you ult into a fight and your team's already fought, you don't want to initiate like a fight. You don't want to be starting the fights really, unless like you're obviously grouped up. But you want to wait until they align. See if you're like prioritizing the hunter and mage, or like if you're prioritizing the hunter, mage, assassin. If there's a chance for them to align, multiple of them, wait to use your ult on them. You want to ult in. So you charge in your ult, wait, they've aligned, bang, in, sprint, bang, choose the next one, dash into them, 1, easy. That's an easy 2 kills. Especially if they're like Guardian or Warrior, hasn't noticed you. Like they're gonna have to react within like, probably like 4 seconds. I'd say you have 4 seconds to do your job really. Now you can like obviously dash away if you want to. Some people like to ult in, use your 3. Like that's a really basic combo, and you can get caught out pretty easily by doing that. Because yes, your sprint's good, but if you get stunned, like it's over. But see if you like go in, hit them a bit. Oh shit, the Guardian or Warrior's coming. Dash out. Even though Mercury's dash is a pretty slow dash, it's still fast compared to a normal movement speed. Finally, this is a really important feature of Mercury's ult. Now Mercury's ult's pretty different. It's a very weird ability because it's like it's the longest dash in the game, and once you've charged it, if you see on the hitbox, if you like barely touch them, if that Odin, that look at that circle on the ground. That circle on the ground where he is, his hitbox is only just barely on it. It's not even on it. And you can still hit him. He'll still get stunned. It's a lot wider than you would think it would be. Mercury's ult has a very wide hitbox in comparison to its actual ability. They do probably need to fix it. So if you do something like that, no, not like that, that was really bad. But if you go past someone, most likely you're going to hit them. But see if you were to go like that, something similar to that, and you were to go past them, see if you like, see if they're like moving, just put them in the middle. See, Thanatos, Thor, their roles as well. Just put the person in the middle. Put them in the middle, hit into them. Even if they manage to, because like Mercury has a delay on when he like dashes on his ult. If you just press it, put them in the middle, they literally can't, unless they have like 700 movement speed for like a Thanatos with the 2, and they chase and execute a target, and they have some other type of movement speed. That's the only person that's probably going to do it, and they're going to have to move exactly like perpendicular. Because if you're ulting them from this side, and you're going to ult dash into them, they would have to literally move straight to the side. They can't move diagonally at all. They can't move forward and backwards. They're getting caught out. But they have to move completely perpendicular, and they have to see that as soon as, and they have to just do it. Stop what they're doing and do that. Most likely they're not going to be able to get out of it, obviously. So you will be surprised sometimes if you, like when you're going to hit people. We should always trust that you're going to hit someone. If I'm going in like this, I'm trusting that I'm going to hit him, and I'm just going to go in. And then if need be, I can dash out or dash into the target, hit them, and go in on them. Something like that. That's especially good for ganking as well. Don't be afraid to charge your ult. Bang. Hit them as soon as it touches them. Or if they're running away from you, don't go too far past them. You can time it perfectly and just get a bit further in front of them. And by that time, they've probably walked about here. They're still hit by that, and they'll be right next to you. So you can work on, from playing Mercury a lot, you can learn people's movement speed and how much a person will generally move away from you. And also, do not be afraid to outrun anyone. Your 2 gives you 10% movement speed more than any other god. So if a god has Warrior Tabby, and see if they have a movement speed I'm going to say like Hastened Katana. Don't get this on Mercury. Please don't. It's just, no. That's 10% movement speed. So they might be able to catch up with you. But remember, if they don't have any, so say if they're a Bakasura, and they jump after you, and you dash straight away, and if they're a bit behind you, then they're never going to be able to catch up to you. Sure, dash is about as far as his jump goes. What's a movement speed item that doesn't give too much? Swift Wing. If they only have T1 of Ancient Blade, they'll only have 5% movement speed there, so they definitely won't be able to catch up to you. And also, your ult is the longest dash in the game. This allows you to be the fastest person on the map at any time. It's faster than, obviously Janus ult can go further than a Mercury ult can. But you don't go anywhere near as fast. You click it, within a second you're there. So you can get like angles through the jungle. You can actually ult from mid to almost to be basically right next to left or right lane, especially if you're in at your side. You can just like, say if like the enemy goes to clear a camp or something, be all level 5, you can just charge your ult when they're gone so they don't see it and they don't call it coming. Or what you can also do is you can just charge your ult in mid, wait till it gets to full. I'm just going to show you what that will look like. So what you do is you'd charge your ult, get it to full, okay, so as if you're staring at them, and then you'd be like, oh shit, they're preparing to fight and stuff. But then you instantly switch it, line it up, bang. They're not going to be able to call that you're coming into the other lane in time. There's no way. Especially if they're overextended or something, they're not getting back in time with your extra movement speed and stuff. So that's how to gank as well. And also you can come, Mercury's amazing with a solo in like Tia, because Tia can knock them up into the wall, and then as soon as you drop, bang, you're in there. Or you can throw them into the wall and then Tia can catch them as well, and sort of juggle them against the wall. That will conclude it for this guide. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learnt something as well. I'll try to make more guides and try to be more consistent and frequent with uploading. But I will see you in the next one. Bye.